Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of Calling All Titans, I want to talk about the Creampuff Man, the new Ghost Titan. I love the ghosts, and choose to play them competitively, not just in handicap situations. With the right partner, they can be extremely strong. With the wrong partner, not so much. Still, they are difficult to use and they do have a few problems. My biggest issue with the ghosts is that I wish they had one more punch, one more incentive for actually thinning your hand. I love the relevance that ghosts provide as an exception to most strategies. In general, drawing cards is good, but not necessarily for the ghosts. However, they need a certain number of powerful cards to make it worth it, and I felt that they were lacking originally. For example, Door to the Beyond was in most instances less powerful than Rotary Slug Thrower, except for the fact that you chose when to activate it through manipulating your hand. The Hauntings are the same way. A skilled ghost player knows when to activate the extra power boost rather than staying at a small hand size constantly. When I evaluate ghost cards, I consider comparable cards and whether the ghost restriction makes the card worthwhile. Make Contact may not be one of the cards that is worth it, given the price paid. As your hand gets thinner, there is a big difference between 2, 1, and 0 cards in your hand, and I mentioned that in my Make Contact video that it doesn't make sense to chase an opportunity to play the action. So I like the Hauntings and Spectre as well as Shady Deal, but not some of the others. However, the Creampuff Man is an exciting opportunity and the finishing touch on this faction. It adds one final reason to blow up your hand, and you gain a great Titan as a result. The Creampuff Man can only be played if you have no cards in your hand, but given that you want to get to 2 to fewer anyway, you may as well go for broke. Think of it this way. Anytime you can play Make Contact, you can play your Creampuff Man. The Creampuff Man has 5 power minus the cards in your hand, which means it can be a 5 power punch to combine with your Hauntings. As great as this power is, I prefer the talent much more. However, it is possible to use Creampuff Man to break a base one turn, draw 2 cards, then go back down to 0 using your normal plays and bring out Creampuff Man again. Just be careful not to draw 2 minions or 2 actions, as you may miss your opportunity. The talent lets you replay any standard action from the discard pile if you can discard a card. The discard is necessary to play a card, so under normal circumstances, you cannot use the talent the same turn the Creampuff Man comes out, since you would have 0 cards in your hand. No, Creampuff Man cannot be played as an interrupt in the middle of a card resolving. Otherwise, it'd be too easy to play this Titan, and the ghost would easily become overpowered. However, on subsequent turns, you create a lot of opportunities. Not only do you get to play your powerful standard actions again, but you have another means for discarding cards to lower your hand size for ghost benefits, including the power of the Creampuff Man itself. You only get the standard action once, since it goes on the bottom of your deck. Otherwise, you could repeatedly play the same action, and terraforming every turn is simply ridiculous. However, should you draw the action again, you can play it twice more potentially, repeating the cycle as often as your luck lets you. Unfortunately, the Creampuff Man doesn't let you play Make Contact since it is not a standard action. Additionally, it has to be in your hand, and Make Contact cannot be played from the discard pile anyway. However, the Creampuff Man can make it really easy to play Make Contact indirectly. You can discard a card to use the talent to play the Dead Rise. Note that this is played by Creampuff Man, not your regular action. The Dead Rise can let you discard your entire hand, sans maybe a minion as well as Make Contact. Then, you can play your regular minion, a minion from the Dead Rise, and then have Make Contact as your only card left with your regular action intact. Suddenly, Make Contact became a lot easier to play. Does this mean you have to have played the Dead Rise already? No. The Creampuff Man has an interesting tactic if you are willing to sacrifice your chance at playing the action twice. You can discard a card to activate the talent, and the card you discard can be the one you intend to play. the Shapeshifter card really works exactly the same way. As a result, the Creampuff Man can be considered playing an extra action, but only for standard actions. But it also has the upside of playing a card twice by discarding another one, potentially in the same turn. All of the time box combos with It's Astounding apply here as well, since the nature of replaying lends themselves to being standard actions. I encourage you to go back and watch that video to see how the combos might benefit from the Ghost perspective. You can play a copy of Ghostly Arrival twice, which can yield many minion plays and even function like a time loop when played via the talent. Some actions you won't want to sacrifice the chance to play twice. Gaining 2 VPs in a turn with Shady Deal is too good to pass up. As I mentioned before, one drawback is that you cannot normally use the talent on the turn the Creampuff Man is played. This is where talent-based drawing is critical. Rockstar Ghosts were a great combo before, but the classic Rocker talent works wonders here as well. On the right base, you can draw a card that becomes your discard fodder. Even the Master Thief can accomplish the same effect, and you don't have to worry about burning one of your cards. Note that you simply have to discard a card. Creampuff Man does not stipulate that it has to go to your discard pile. One of my favorite loopholes of the Creampuff Man is that he is great at getting rid of Madness because Madness is actually a standard action. Standard actions are, surprisingly, defined by what they are not rather than what they are. It's not a requirement that the card has to go to the discard pile, it simply cannot be played on a minion or on a base. As a result, you can discard a Madness card, then play it from the discard pile to return it to the Madness deck. If you are playing Miskatonic University, this is a great way to get rid of the Madness cards you drew or discarded for powerful effects. Mage Ghosts were one of my favorite combos before, but now the Creampuff Man becomes greater incentive to play with virtually no hand. When you discard a card with the Happy Zapper, you are getting another power from the Creampuff Man. Embiggen can bring out the Creampuff Man easily while also giving one of your minions a massive boost. With a full hand, you can drop 14 power unexpectedly, or even more when combined with a Happy Zapper to break a base by yourself. Between Seance and 2 copies of Recover Arcane Wisdom, you have enough card regeneration to make it worthwhile and to continue to utilize your Titan. I also appreciate how the game has evolved recently in ways that really benefit the Ghosts. The Creampuff Man picked a great time to materialize. One of the problems with Ghosts was that cards aren't bad, so why discard them? Well, the Ghosts only care about hand size, and this meant either playing them or discarding them. But now, the ancient Egyptians can bury cards from your hand, which lets you keep the effects but at a delayed pace. The Vikings let you put cards back on top of your deck to gain power, so you are merely saving them for later. Both of these thin your hand to help bring up the Creampuff Man. Because standard actions simply don't have to be played on a base, cards that bury themselves are standard actions and can provide a lot of base scoring manipulations. The Creampuff Man adds a lot of power to the Ghosts. It can replay powerful actions a second time, but most importantly, it validates the Ghost strategy and incentivizes a player to thin your hand, which is great for the game. This faction plays so counterintuitively that it is so much fun, and now the Ghosts are a veritable powerhouse. I'm so happy that the Titan exists, which is why I ranked it number 4 on my Titans list. What do you think of the Creampuff Man? Does it change your opinion about the Ghosts? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.